Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo, ipag-iwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, Chumbe, Sibay, Lakay, Amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, Pilipino, yan ang Pinoy.
Binansagang bayaning atleta, yan din kaya ang turing sa ating mga Pilipinong atleta. Yan po ang ating pag-usapan ngayong Sabado ng umaga. E di paano? Bago na! Power and play na! Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat mga kapatid. Isa pong napakagandang araw. Naku, long weekend at nagbabalik po ang inyong paboritong kasalo tuwing Sabado ng umaga. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. Chooks to go, nag-iisang manok ng bayan. True religion, where passion meets power and smart. Live more today. Ako po si Noli, Eala. At sabi ko nga, mahabang weekend, long weekend na naman ito ating nararanasan. Kaya I'm sure marami po sa inyo ay either papunta pa lamang o naroon na para samantalahin ang konting pahinga na ating pwedeng makuha. Alam naman natin na itong weekend na ito ay dapat para sa National, yung Bonifacio Day sa November 30 pero inilipat sa November 27. At kaya medyo humaba ang ating weekend ngayon. Kaya po binabati natin lahat po ng ating mga suki sa Power and Play po, sa lalong-lalo na sa Radyo 5, 92.3 True FM, sa 1PH on Signal TV, and of course, sa Facebook Live. Kanina po nabanggit ko yung bayaning atleta. Tamang-tama po yan sa ating selebrasyon sa Bonifacio Day. Sapagkat alam niyo po ang atletang Pilipino, lagi natin tinatawag na bayani. Pero talaga bang yan ang ating turing sa kanila? Meron po tayong kakausapin mamaya sa ating pong panayam, isang dating numero 1 fencer o yung nag-iiskrima, si Maxine Esteban. Siya po ang number 1 fencer ng Pilipinas. Pero kamakailan, nagsalita na po siya na siya ay lumipat na ng kanyang sporting nationality. Hindi na po siya lumalaban para sa bansang Pilipinas o sa Federasyon ng Pilipinas, kung hindi para na po sa Ivory Coast. At ngayong araw pong ito, ibubunyag niya kung bakit nagkaganito ang kanyang naging tadhana. Para bang isang paglalakbay na tumama po ang laking problema at kamalasan. At hindi siya naintindihan sa kanyang at hindi rin siya natulungan sa kanya pong paglalakbay bilang isang fencer. Mamaya po makakapanayam natin si Maxine Esteban. Ngayon po ay ranked number 39 sa mga fencers. Mamaya rin po ating makakausap si Kheith Rynne Cruz. Siya po ang 16-year-old na kapapanalo pa lamang dun sa World Youth Contenders ng World Table Tennis Under-19 Championship. Isa na namang storya ng tagumpay, pero isa na namang storya ng paghahangad ng tulong mula sa ating mga sports officials. Ating pong pag-uusapan ang kanyang naging kwento at ang kanya pong paglalakbay sa kanya pong kagustuhang makapasok sa Paris Olympics. And finally, ating pong tututukan ang isa sa mga koponang papasok sa Final Four ng UAAP. Yan po ang Ateneo Blue Eagles, kung saan sila po ang huling nakakuha ng upuan sa piging ng Final Four na magsisimula po mamaya. Ang ating pong makakausap, mismo ang kanilang head coach na si Coach Tab Baldwin. Kaya po, dyan lang kayo at marami tayong magiging huntahan. Kaya simulan na natin ang ating programa, of course, sa ating paboritong segment na Sports Weekly Highlights. Well, kagaya ng sinabi po natin, kompleto na ang final forecast ng UAAP Season 86 Men's Basketball Tournament. Huling nakapasok ang defending champions, ang Ateneo Blue Eagles, matapos nilang talunin ang Adamson Soaring Falcons sa do-or-die playoff match. Makakatapat ng Blue Eagles ang top seed at twice-to-beat UP Fighting Maroons. Sa kabilang serye, may twice-to-beat advantage naman ang De La Salle Green Archers kontra sa NU Bulldogs. Sa PBA, pinangalan ng Player of the Week si Javi Gomez De Leaño, kasunod ng good start ng Terra Firma Jeep sa PBA Commissioner's Cup. May averages na 24 points, 5 rebounds at 1.5 assists si Javi sa mga panalo ng Terra Firma kontra Blackwater at NLEX. May 2-2 record ngayon ang koponan. At sa iba pang balita sa PBA, nagkainitan si Pido Harencio at Thomas Robinson ng NLEX Road Warriors. Nagkasigawan ng dalawa at umabot pa malapit sa dugout ng Araneta Coliseum ang away. May mga pumagitna naman sa dalawa at hindi na lumala ang issue. Sa interview, sinabi ni Pido na pumagitna siya ng bastusin di umano ni Robinson si Northport Governor Eric Arijola. Wala pang pahayag ang NLEX reinforcement sa nangyari. At sa NBA naman, nakagawa na naman ng kasaysayan si LeBron James bilang unang player na nakatungtong sa 39,000 point mark. Nakuha yan ni The King sa 131-99 win ng Los Angeles Lakers sa Utah Jazz. Sa kasalukuyan, may average na 26.4 points si LBJ ngayong season at posibleng makatungtong na siya sa 40,000 points. At sa football, nauwi sa draw ang Philippine Ascals at ang kanilang kalaban, Indonesia, 1-1 sa FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Nakauna ang Ascals sa likod ng goal ni Patrick Reichel sa 23rd minute sa harap ng halos 10,000 Ascals fans sa Rizal Memorial Stadium. Nakatablang visiting squad sa 70th minute mark sa likod ng goal ni Sadil Ramdani. Nasa third spot ngayon ng Group F ang Pilipinas sa likod ng Iraq at Vietnam. At yan po ang buod ng mga balita sa Sports Weekly Highlights. Well, talaga pong mainit at sana nga ang Philippine Ascals ay makausad. Of course, ang ating pong tinututukan ngayong araw na ito ang pagsisimula po ng Final Four ng UAAP kung saan blockbuster ang matchups ng apat na nananatili sa Season 86. Alam naman po natin na ang UP Fighting Maroons, bagamat sila ay na-frustrate last season, nagpalakas pa ng kanilang koponan. Kaya po sila ang nanguna sa elimination round. At ngayon, haharap sila sa isang koponan na batang-bata katulad ng Ateneo Blue Eagles. Samantala, number 2 seed ang napakainit na De La Salle Green Archers na nag-sweep ng second round ng elimination round. Ang kanila makakatapat ang NU Bulldogs. Kaya po ito ang ating pupulsuhan ngayong araw pong ito. Sabagat alam nating napakaraming fans ng UAAP na ngayon ay baka nag-aagawan sa ticket. Kaya po ang ating pupulsuhan, napakasimple ha. Ito pong Pulso ng Bayan, hatid sa inyo ng M2 Tea Drinks with malunggay, okra, and luya. Drink your gulay and fuel up your energy with M2 Tea Drinks. Ito po ang ating pong katanungan ngayong araw na ito. ano ang fearless forecast ninyo sa UAAP Season 86 Final Four? Ano po ang inyong palagay na lalabas dyan sa Final Four ng Season 86 ng UAAP? Kung gusto niyo pong manalo ng M2T drinks with malunggay, okra, and luya, mag-post lamang po ng inyong komentaryo sa aking Twitter account at Noli Eala o di kaya sa aming Facebook page ng Power and Play. Mamaya po ating i-anunsyo ang mga mananalo ng M2T drinks with malunggay, okra, and luya sa pulso ng bayan. Alright, talking about i-anunsyo ang mga panalo, mamaya rin po ating tayo pipili ng mananalo nitong Joyride Top Up promo. Pero of course, bago yan, panoorin niyo po itong isang video mula sa Joyride Super App.
Pwedeng parahin, pwedeng i-book gamit ang Joyride Super App para ma-avail ang bagong next generation kasundo sa daan. Joyride Super Taxi. Parehong patak, kasi taxi pa rin to. Pero mas patok sa panalong new features. Di lang yan, super service pang hatid ng drivers ng Joyride Super Taxi. Kaya level up palalo from the Kasundo brand of service that you're used to. City drives na di mahal at siguradong mamahalin mo? Yahing swabe ang andar at panalo ang sakay. Yan ang Joyride Super Taxi. Super value, super experience.
Yan po ang ating bagong produkto, ang Joyride Super Taxi. Yan po ang isa sa mga produkto na pwede niyong paggamitan ng 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits mula sa Joyride Super App. At napakasimple lamang po para manalo ng 1,000 pesos JR Pay wallet credits. Unang-una, kuhanan po ninyo or download nyo po lang po ang latest version ng Joyride Super App. I-screenshot ang app's home screen kasama ng inyong pangalan. Ipadala ang inyong screenshot na dapat po nandun yung inyong pangalan sa Facebook page or ng Power and Play. Yung pong i-private message nyo po kami at kami po ay pipili ng 5 mananalo ng 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits mula sa Joyride. Mamaya po yan after all of our interviews. At hindi pa po dyan nagtatapos ang pamimigay ng premyo ng Joyride ng Super App. Namimigay rin po tayo ng Joyride Limited Edition Aqua Flask. Simple-simple lamang po para manalo ng Joyride Limited Edition Aqua Flask. Saktong-sakto yan pag kayo ay nagbakasyon. I-download ang Joyride Super App, mag-book po ng Joyride MC Taxi or Joyride Car at kumukuhanan ng isang creative picture ang inyo pong driver or rider kasama po ninyo. Creative picture at ipadala nyo po sa aming Facebook page at kami po ay pipili ng mananalo ng nagpadala ng litrato kasama po nitong ating hashtag of the week. At ang ating pong hashtag of the week na dapat isama nyo doon sa inyong litrato, ito po hashtag JRCar. Again, ulitin ko po yan hashtag JRCar. At again, i-anunsyo po natin ang mananalo next week. Pero yung nanalo last week, mamaya abangan nyo rin ang nanalo ng limited edition Aqua Flask. Alright, tuloy-tuloy po tayo sa ating programa. Siyempre, ang ating huntahan magsisimula na. At simulan na natin sa ating favorite segment, ang Fast Take. At ang Fast Take ay hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Tigo, there's more to our cars. At ngayong araw pong ito, solo flight ang ating makakasama sa Fast Take. Siya po ay siyempre regular dito sa ating show. At sikat na itong aking kaibigang ito. Walang iba kundi live from Chicago para po sa Fast Take, si Homer Sayson ng spin.Ph. Homer, thank you for joining us ngayong umagang ito.
Pleasure is mine, Com. Good morning sa lahat ng mga listeners ng Power and Play.
Alam mo, unang-una, I wanna ask you, totoo ba na ang spin magpapaalam na? Medyo nalulungkot ako sa mga ganyang balita. Ano bang katotohanan dyan, Homer?
Oh no, we're staying. We're good. There was this, obviously I'm not authorized to speak on behalf of Spin, but from what I've been told, hindi natuloy yata yung supposed buyout with GMA. So we are, Spin's coming back. We're not going anywhere. And
Yan ang gusto natin
yes,
marinig. Para
yes.
hindi naman tayo mawalan ng mga balita because ang dami-daming parokyano and of course, followers, readers ng Spin and of course, all of the podcasts that are being done there. And we certainly are looking forward to its continued coverage of all of the sports scene here and abroad. Homer, talking about sports scene, kanina napag-usap, bago tayo pumunta sa Fast Take, napag-usapan ko yung magandang performance ng Blackwater ngayon. No? They are 2-2. They have been surprisingly picking up a couple of wins. May winning streak pa nga sila na nakuha. But, alam naman natin historically, this has been a team that has been at the bottom, hirap na hirap. We've criticized them so many times because of their, questionable trades and decisions. Kailan ka maniniwala, Homer, na itong Blackwater is on the right path towards perhaps redemption?
Maniwala ako dyan, Commissioner, if I actually see them keep their personnel. Kasi when Coach Jeff Carriazo was hired for the job, tinanong ko siya, I mean, why you take that job? Blackwater is a place where good coaches go to die, go to pasture. So why Blackwater? You have such good pedigree, galing ka Alaska, you acquitted yourself well. Yung sinabi daw niya, binigyan daw siya ng assurance ng management na you'll be able to keep the personnel he wants and choose the personnel he wants to run his system. Pero yun na nga, just when you start to believe with Blackwater, now they lost to Terra Firma last November 15, equally dismal team. And then, may mga rumors na one of its good players, Ray Suarez, is playing really good. And there are rumors na parang i-trade yata. So, it's the same exhausting narrative when it comes to Blackwater. So, unless and until makita natin that there's some continuity, at least kahit isa o dalawang conference man lang na they're keeping the same people, then I'll begin to believe. But right now, Commissioner, I'm still a non-believer of the Blackwater bosses.
Well, a lot of people share your sentiment. Of course, the other team, Terra Firma, isa na naman kupunan na expansion but has not really proven anything. And hopefully, kahit papano, itong conference na to ay sana makapagpakita naman sila para makakita naman tayo ng konting progress pagdating sa mga expansion teams. Talking about developments in the Philippine scene, the Final Four is coming up, Homer, and I have a fast take question about that. But I want to ask you about this. No? Alam natin na maraming teams have been affected by the player exodus, lalo na yung mga collegiate players that have left their teams. No, UP is one of them na biktima niyan. Of course, Ateneo, ganun din, nawalan ng mga players. Ganun din ang iba pang mga kupunan. Do you think this trend ng mga UAAP players will continue? Yung trend na aalis sila after 1 year and they will seek greener pastures, become professionals, and that will leave the plans of a contending team in shambles? Sa tingin mo ba? That's still a very big concern.
Yes, it is. As long as there's the Japan B League and other lucrative leagues, Commissioner, I think the migration will continue. And that is the reason why, like for instance, Ateneo, I'm hearing they have as many as 30 players. So when somebody leaves, it doesn't really bother you much. UP, I am told by one of its boosters, they have 40 players. So, the big programs insofar as UP and LaSalle and Ateneo, hindi masyadong ma-hurt. I give you an example. Look at Carl Tamayo. He left for the Japan B League. UP is the #1 seed. So and look at Ateneo. They lost 4 players last season. Right. Commissioner. And where are they now? There were bumps and bruises, obviously, to come here, but the end result's the same. Final 4 appearance, 8 in a row for Coach Baldwin. So, mahirap kasi they don't have a hold because supposedly these players are not under contract, diba? Student athlete. Eh. So when they leave, wala talaga. There's no, on paper, you cannot say, hey, you signed 4-year deal because there's none. It's a student athlete. And, like I said, it would be malpractice on the part of the players kung hindi sila to try that in Japan. Even if it won't work, you would have that experience, you would have a little money in your pocket, So it's also a no, ang ano lang ang hold lang talaga ng mga schools commissioner is the loyalty factor.
Oo,
But loyalty, yeah, loyalty sometimes, unfortunately, it doesn't always go both ways. Diba? So that's why hindi natin ma-blame ang mga players pag aalis sila. And I give you another example too. Jerome Lastimosa, he held off because of his loyalty to Adamson, and you appreciate that because loyalty is very important in life, not just sports. And then what happened to him? So he lost a lot of opportunity. I have personal intimate knowledge na ready na siya sa Japan. I spoke to his reps, and but it happens.
But that will have to wait again because of his condition. Obviously, sabi nga nila, loyalty does not feed your family. But at the end of the day, that's still something that we preach for all of our players.
Correct.
Of course, the big fear in the side of LaSalle is Kevin Kiambao, who is probably going to be the MVP this year ng UAAP, could probably be offered and might not be there next year. Again, another super athlete that obviously ang kanyang future is up in the air, and we don't know what's going to happen there.
Yes, like KBL, for instance, we're not even talking Japan B League here, Commissioner. KBL, always, they have scouts in Manila. They have open tryouts. As a matter of fact, Jerome, I was told, had a tryout with Samsung while, during the off-season of the UAAP. So there's so many avenues for these players, which are good for the players, Commissioner, and also speaks well to, gumagaling talaga yung mga players natin, yung mga bata natin coming from the grassroots and coming from the local. Like, for instance, Oftana from Dumaguete is now a star at TNT. So, you have Halalon from Cagayan. So it's really a good sign for Philippine basketball in general.
Well, hopefully nga, magpatuloy at lalo pa sumigla ang ating collegiate basketball scene. All right, Homer, this is Fast Take. Alam mo na ang drill dito. Pato-pato sa langit naman, huwag magagalit. And of course, walang tama, walang mali. Ang importante dito ang iyong opinion. 3 issues for the morning, 1 minute to answer each of the issues. And we begin with the UAAP. 4 teams remaining. Final 4, ika nga. Ang UP, LaSalle, NU, at Ateneo. Anong key factors para sa iyo ang dapat na makita nila para sila maging successful dito sa UAAP Final 4? 1 minute, Homer. Go!
Shout out to John Mark Garcia, yung me on, kasi siya yung nag-cover boots on the ground. So I had a conference with him and we spoke, and I've learned so much. UP is a bad team in so far as playing from behind. So ang key nila, Commissioner, is don't trail behind. Go get a good start. They'd be so difficult to beat because of their depth. Dioff, Cancino, and then you have Lebron Lopez, Abadiano, all their guards. So if they start well, they're gonna be so hard to beat. Ang LaSalle naman, Commissioner, they should not fall in the trap of over-relying on Kiambao and Evanelli. If they maximize their bench, as what they've been doing now, they swept the second round. Magaling si Topex, and I spoke with Coach Topex 3 days ago, and then we have a little banter, and he informed me a lot, which obviously I can't tell but bench depth, Kiambao, Nelly, the coaching of Topex is gonna be big. NU Commissioner, sabi ni Mark, and I believe him because he's covering boots on the ground. The injuries, Steve Nash Enriquez, once he was injured, they were never the same team. Tapos, and this is a bad time. Even if you are in the Final 4, Commissioner, it's a bad time to get in there. Alam mo naman, gaano ka-importante yung momentum. And they are limping into the Final 4 with 2 consecutive losses. The last one, a very bad one against the UP. So mahirapan. I think it is the least of the 4 teams, the least 4 here, the least of the 4 is NU. Now we come to the elephant in the room, Ateneo. I make no apologies of my affinity for the Blue Eagles. I love Coach Baldwin, but man, this team is so young, Commissioner, and if they make those turnovers, I give you an example, the game against Adamson, not the knockout game, the game before that, when they had to beat Adamson prior to the UA game, I saw that in its entirety.
Yeah.
Lamang sila ng 15 with 4 minutes to go, and because of the silly turnovers that had gone to characterize Ateneo, they made it a close game. Almost, Adamson almost stole that game. And then, bad free throw shooting. If they can limit the turnovers, Commissioner, and they can somehow shoot good free throws, they're talented enough to beat UP 2 times. But,
All right.
yes.
Well, alam naman natin na maraming factors yan, but at the end, I think it's really going to be the depth of UP and LaSalle against the defense maybe of Ateneo and NU. All right, let's go to our second issue. Alam ko nagmamadali tayo ng konti dito, Homer. 1 minute. The second issue is about the PBA. Noong isang araw, nagkaroon ng aberya dyan sa PBA at nagkaroon ng sigawan between a player and a team manager. But that team manager is not just any team manager, but isang dating player. Kaya ito ang tanong, sapat na ba na nag-sorry si Pido Harencio, manager ng Northport, sa nangyaring kaguluhan at sigawan niya kontra NLEX at si Thomas Robinson na import ng NLEX? You got 1 minute. Homer, 1 minute. Go.
It's not enough. There has to be a fine or a suspension or whatever the commissioner chooses, but it's not. It's apology is not enough, Commissioner. Although Horencio said it was a joke, it's hard to laugh when the joke comes with a bullet and words along the line saying "wait for you outside." So, PBA is in a way sports tourism. We invite imports to come over here, and we try to, we always say the PBA is the best pay-per-play league in Asia, and then we have incidents like this, and it's unacceptable, Commissioner, because when you have an argument between a team executive and a player, the assumption is that the executive has to be the adult in the room, and for the PBA, if they give him a pass, it would be a very bad look for the PBA, Commissioner. Harencio, good guy. What he did was bad. He deserves punishment.
Well, alam mo, I love Pido. We all know how talented that guy is when he was a player and how fiery he was or he is as a coach. But alam mo, something has to be done in terms of order in the PBA. Hindi pwede itong si boss, ni boss at ni boss dahil masyado silang malakas kay boss.
Yes.
And sana nga ay magkaroon ng leksyon dito at bigyan ng konting disiplina ng PBA ang mga taong ganito.
I spoke to the agent of Thomas Robinson and he said alam daw kasi nila na he has a very short temper and that's why they try to
pinipigot siya. All right. Let's go to our third and final issue of the morning. Homer, ito ay patungkol sa napakagandang in-season tournament ng NBA kung saan we are nearing the end of the round-robin games ng group stage. So ang tanong, sino sa tingin mo ang mananalo ng inaugural in-season tournament ng NBA? 1 minute, Homer. Go.
Commissioner, I don't think I'm the best person to answer. Wala akong credibility. The teams I picked, Clippers, Sixers, and Mavericks, they're all gone, Commissioner. But I still like the teams that are still alive. You have the Lakers and the Suns. You have Pelicans and the Nuggets, and then obviously the Celtics, Pacers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Sa tingin ko, Commissioner, I like the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets ang gusto ko dito, Commissioner. I think they will pull through this. But then again, very heavy loaded. Ang tingin ko lang sa Lakers, although they're very tough, Commissioner, you have to wonder if LeBron and Anthony Davis can play with the same enthusiasm because the goal is bigger, the NBA championship, not the NBA Cup. So yun lang ang ano ko. But the Denver Nuggets, I like them, Commissioner, and obviously the Milwaukee Bucks too. But fearless forecast, Denver Nuggets.
Wow. Well, hindi ako lalaban dyan. But certainly the safe bet could be Denver. Plus, of course, Boston on the other end. I also like Minnesota. I hope they make it even as a wild card because I think ito si Anthony Edwards is playing the best basketball.
Great. He's terrific. Yes.
Today, and I think they deserve to be there at least in the top 4 ng in-season tournament. Omar, again, as usual, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving weekend para sa'yo. And of course, enjoy the the Final Four mamaya na mapapanood natin.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Yan po mga kaibigan natin, kaibigan.
Midas
Si Homer
Corporation.
Sayson,
Thank you, Commissioner.
ng spin.Ph. Homer Sayson, of course, live from Chicago. Again, ang dami niya pong mga kwento. And of course, tayo nagpapasalamat sa kanyang patuloy na suporta sa Power and Play. Bago tayo magpatuloy po mga kapatid, isa muna pong paalala mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa Smart. Puso Pilipinas is a movement to celebrate the Filipino athlete powered by Smart. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Get a chance to win exclusive Puso Pilipinas merch by sharing their Facebook page in your social media accounts with hashtag Puso Pilipinas. The Giga Life app is the latest mobile app from Smart that lets you discover and enjoy your passions with the different Giga promos. It can be downloaded and used by Smart Postpaid, Smart Prepaid, Bro Prepaid, and TNT subscribers via the Apple or Google Play Store. What can the Giga Life app do for me? Check your balance, monitor your current subscription, top up using debit credit card, subscribe to the latest Giga promos, monitor your data consumption, auto-detect your mobile number when you are connected to Smart Network one-tap subscription to the most popular offer, Giga Video 99. And of course, Power and Play is powered by Smart. Live Smart! At sa ating pong pagbabalik, ang ating makakapanayam, ang dating Filipino national fencer. Ngayon, siya po ay isang Phil-Ivorian ranked number 39 fencer in the world. Maxine Esteban will be in the house. Ito po ang Power and Play. Hatid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go, at ng True Religion. At ang commercial break na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng M2 Tea Drink with malunggay, okra, and luya. Drink your gulay and fuel up on energy with M2 Tea Drinks.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kai's stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day. Plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Sharing.
Masarap. Malinis. Friendly store crew. At higit sa lahat, healthy. Ang bawat manok ay laki sa alaga, hindi sa gamot. Garantisado, zero antibiotics. And that's the Chooks experience. Kaya mag-Chooks to stay na. Dito lang sa Chooks.
Noli, Eala.
Muli po nagbabalik ang Power and Play ngayong pong Sabado ng umaga. Again, we thank you for joining us today. You know, we've got a very special guest right now. Alam niyo po itong ating susunod na panauhin. Siya po ay naging national team athlete ng Pilipinas sa larangan ng fencing or eskrima. Ika nga, no? Siya po ay nagtamo ng napakaraming medalya para sa ating bansa. Kasama na po dyan, of course, ang mga medalya sa Southeast Asian Games level as well as sa international level. Siya po ay naging rango 16th in the world as a Philippine junior fencer. At nung pong siya naglalaro para sa ating national team, umabot po ang kanyang world ranking hanggang 62nd. But today, she's ranked even higher. Yun lang nga po, iba na ang bandilang nire-represent niya, ang bandila po ng Ivory Coast. At malalaman po natin ang kanyang storya kung bakit kinailangan lumipat siya ng tinatawag na sporting nationality. And we're very, very thankful and grateful to have with us today the former Philippine national fencer and now a Phil-Ivorian fencer, Maxine Esteban. Maxine, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Tito Noli. It's nice to be back in your program. I'm really happy to be back.
First of all, ikaw ba, where are you based now, Maxine? Kasi ang dami mong competitions all over. Where are you based now?
Well, I'm based in Germany in a small city called Weinheim.
Mm-hmm. And you chose that because of the numerous trainings and competitions, ganun ba yun?
Yeah, since a lot of competitions are in Europe, it's really strategic to stay in a country in Europe. So we decided to move to Germany because there are many good fencers here.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, of course, congratulations are in order for your victory this year, of course, in the 2023 African Fencing Championships in Cairo, where you won a bronze medal. And of course, your very high world ranking now. The last I read, it was already on number 39 in the world. Is that correct, Maxine?
Yes, Tito.
Wow. So, you know, you've moved several notches up since you were representing the Philippines. And I guess I want to pick it up from there, because when I say used to represent the Philippines, I think that's really something that a lot of people are wondering, bakit nangyari yan, and ano ba naging background niyan, no? So let me begin with this, because recently you released an online post, breaking your silence on the issue of your changing your sporting nationality. And in that media statement, you mentioned, quote unquote, self-respect as a principal reason for changing your sporting nationality. Maxine, what did you mean by that when you said self-respect?
Well, yes po. Una sa lahat, Tito Noli, gusto ko po kasing humingi ng pasensya sa buong bayan dahil sa aking naging desisyon. Katulad ng sinabi ko a few months ago, a series of unfortunate events, none of which I had the control of, led to that decision. And it was a matter of self-respect, because sometimes you need to walk away from something that doesn't value your worth. And napakahirap at napakasakit yung desisyon na yun for me. But let me correct a misunderstanding. I did not give up on my country. I gave up on a federation because they gave up on me first. And that's a big difference right there. And the reality is, sobra akong nabastos because I was removed from the national team roster without even being given the courtesy of a written nor a face-to-face notice. And I was a member of the national team for 8 years in good standing. I was in the top 16 in the junior world rankings, an 8-time national champion, and the first and only Filipino to win a junior and a senior World Cup medal. So I was kicked out from the team while I was recovering from an ACL injury, which I suffered while competing for our country in the World Championships. And for me, that sobrang sakit nun, and I was very disappointed. considering din po na I was the highest ranked fencer in the world at that time. So I really assume that, you know, athletes deserve some respect to at least be given an advance notice, respect to be at least spoken face to face, and respect to be at least given the chance to have a discussion.
Let me ask you about that, because you mentioned that you weren't even given the courtesy of a written notice or a face-to-face meeting. You mean to say, I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. How did you get the notice, and how did they come up with this decision just to remove you from the national team?
Sobrang masakit at nakakahiya, and I hope na it won't happen to any other national athlete, because at that time I was very hurt when I received the news na wala na pala ako sa national team from other people. So I was
Wow.
very shocked because I depended on their letter excusing me from all training and competition for 6 months. So when I heard the news from other people, I really couldn't believe it.
You were excused from competition. What were these competitions? Was this something that they asked you to do, knowing full well na may injury ka? Was that something that you were being required to do, and you were excused from that, Maxine?
So right after my ACL injury, they scheduled.
When was this ACL injury? This was sometime last year, right?
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
They scheduled like qualifiers for the Southeast Asian Games, and I immediately wrote them a letter right after my surgery, and I asked them if they can excuse me from all training and competition for 6 months, which they responded, and they said, yes, of course, like you are excused from all these competitions and training for 6 months.
How was that response given to you? Was that formally as well?
No, it was through their official email.
Okay. All right. And let me get this clear. When you got your injury, were you in training? You were in competition, right? From what I remember.
Yes, I was competing in the World Championships.
Under the Philippine flag.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you were excused. You requested to be excused because of your injury, and presumably to get better and to rehab from your injury. And the response was yes, based on an email that they sent to you officially. And then how did you learn that you were removed, and why? What was the reason given?
Well, when I wrote to the federation after my surgery, they told me that they wrote to me and said that it was because I wasn't ready and that I didn't join these 5 qualifiers that happened. And had I known po na the excuse letter given to me was useless, of course, I would have joined and forced myself to join these qualifiers, even if I knew full well that I had a fully torn ACL. Because, you know, who knows, maybe I would have won. But you know nga, I relied on their excuse letter and thinking na the federation supported me. And so I just focused on my recovery.
Were there other fencers who were in the same boat, but in other words, did not meet the requirements, and yet they were qualified into the national team?
Yes po, Tito. Like, tinanggal po ako sa national team because according to their one and only reply to me, hindi daw po kasi ako sumali sa qualifiers. Pero meron din mga hindi sumali na nasa national team pa rin hanggang ngayon. So for me, of course, if the law should apply to all, if not to none at all, diba?
Right,
And that's
right,
why,
yeah.
That's why maybe the transfer would have been avoided if the alleged rule equally and fairly applied to all without any exemptions or exceptions.
Let me get this straight. So there were other fencers, pareho rin kao, na were not able to attend these 5-leg qualifiers. You were not able because you were injured, and you requested and they granted your request na wag na sumali doon, and yet despite that tinanggal ka pa rin sa national team while others were able to qualify. Why do you think were you treated differently, Maxine? Personal ba to?
Actually, I'm not really sure. I really have no idea, Tito. Like, I think they just don't care. Like, I have not disrespected anyone in Federation ever. In fact, I have shown my willingness to always extend my help to the Federation or to the team, to anybody who needs my help whenever they needed it. But in my case, this just clearly shows that they have some lack of concern for an athlete's physical and well-being. I think it's because it's the Olympic season na kasi, and dapat alam nila na the highest ranked fencer, someone who is ranked 62 in the world, has a really good chance of qualifying directly. But despite all my written explanations, my letters to them, they dropped me without even considering any of my explanations, and they never even addressed anything that I said. And they also disregarded my medical clearance, which I submitted from Dr. Edgar Eufemio, clearing me to return to competitive sports.
And let me get this clear. All of these were happening without a hearing. There was never a face-to-face meeting with the board or the leadership of the Philippine Fencing Association.
There was never a hearing or any meeting conducted in my presence, none that I know of. And as far as I'm concerned, I was the athlete who was involved. And being in the national team for 8 years, an athlete with good standing, and the highest ranked Filipino fencer in the world, and I was injured because I was representing the country, someone who depended on their permission to be excused from all training and competition, I think I deserved at least an audience and to at least be informed. Because I wrote them several times and sought for an audience from them, but they never addressed this request.
Our staff has been very resourceful, and we were able to get the letter sent to you dated December 15 from the president of the PFA, of course, Congressman Richard Gomez. And one of the statements there was that the decision of the PFA turning down your request touched on, quote unquote, the efforts of the ones who stayed on throughout the quote unquote qualifiers. No, in other words, they thought that it would be better to qualify those who were able to go through the qualifier, 5-leg qualifiers, and they were rewarding the efforts of these who stayed on. What is your reaction, Maxine? Because it seems like that was the main reason why you were removed from the national team.
Well, Tito Noli, I have always supported my teammates all these years, and they're all my friends, and I truly appreciate all their efforts. And of course, kung sinong deserving, I'm really happy for them, and I will certainly abide by the rule if, number one, they did not issue me an excuse letter excusing me from all local and international training and competition. And number two, if they applied whatever rule they claim to have equally and fairly to all. But the problem is, Tito, they issued me an excuse letter and I relied on it. And second, yun nga, like, some people didn't join the qualifiers, but they're still in the national team. So for me, that's not fair at all.
What was the most painful part in all of this conflict with your association? Is there some kind of a sense of betrayal?
Yes, betrayal and a lot of disrespect on my part. I think the most painful part of this whole thing is the realization na sobrang kawawa ng mga atletang Pilipino, because I suffered both mentally and physically. And sana po, konting respeto and consideration lang po for all the national athletes, We willingly and wholeheartedly train every single day. We put our lives at risk and our health to compete for our country. And we train months away from our loved ones and sacrifice a lot of things. like growing up, like our social life, finances, our time, and we don't even do this for money. We don't do this for cash prize. We do this because we want to bring honor to our country.
Mm.
Yet the first ones to diminish your efforts is your federation. That's the most painful part for me.
All right. Well, obviously, when I read the letter of the PFA as well, it was obviously geared towards that, as they said, no, performing better in the recently concluded Southeast Asian Games, and that was the reason why they needed to qualify certain fencers. Uh, in your case, were you not willing to at least wait as well, or was it something that you could have avoided, changing sporting nationality by maybe, all right, I'm gonna skip, I'm gonna try again to qualify? Why did you decide to just change your sporting nationality and take up the Federation of the Ivory Coast?
Well, Tito Noli, I think the Olympic qualifiers was already a few months away at that time. So
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't depend on just because they replied to me and they said that I could join the Asian Championship if only somebody backed out from the national team. But I couldn't depend on that because if I wasn't able to join these two very important competitions, then my chances of qualifying would just go away and all my efforts would be useless.
So really, the focus from your end was to qualify for the Olympics. Now, let me ask you about this, Maxine. And some quarters are saying that this focus on the Paris Olympics forced you to do some shortcutting, and you did not want to go through all of that process. Is this true?
Well, Tito Noli, let me correct a misunderstanding. Like what I said earlier, I did not give up on my country and I gave up on a federation because it gave up on me first. So let's get something straight. No one who dreams of getting into the Olympics dreams of getting there without going through all the processes. And hindi naman po just because you have money, you'll be able to qualify in the Olympics. Of course, to get there, you need to qualify. And no amount of money can get you there. So a lot of people have been spreading like wrong information, but there are about 20 Olympic qualifying tournaments, and out of these 20, there's only one zonal competition. This means that all the other competitions are participated by every fencer in the world, no matter what country or continent you are in. So, like the World Cups, the World Championship, the Grand Prix, and the Zonal Championship give out almost the same number of Olympic points. So, if you win a medal in any of these competitions, you are almost certain of a qualification. And yes, I agree, Asia has more fencers, but that's why they're given two individual slots, while Africa only is given one slot. So I think it's fair. Yeah, and considering the talent of a lot of African countries like Egyptian and Tunisian fencers, they're really good. So I think like those who say that are just intentionally trying to veer away from the truth. That I would like to reiterate, na I did not leave, but I was removed from the national team.
All right. Well, let me move forward. Obviously, it's been a painful part of your journey as an athlete, and even from the Philippine side, you are a big loss to the Philippines, having been the top fencer of the country, and losing that opportunity for you to represent the Philippines. Now, you have shifted your federation, your sporting nationality. Again, it's your nationality as an athlete and representing a particular federation. How is the Federation of the Ivory Coast treating you, Maxime?
Well, they're really taking care of me, and I'm treated with a lot of respect, love, and care. And the Ivorian Fencing Federation, they're always concerned about my results of my competition, my training, my recovery, and They even provided me a sports psychologist. So they're always on top of things, especially with regards to the pathway of my career. So I'm
Mm.
really happy and grateful for them.
Any regrets that you had to leave the Philippines, at least the Federation of the Philippines, Maxine?
No regrets, Tito.
No regrets. Well, it's always good to believe in what you do, and I think that's the most important part in anything that we decide on. At the end of the day, if it's a well calculated decision, then I think regret should be the last thing in your mind. Now let me ask you about your plans. How does your Olympic dream look like? What are you planning in the next few months leading up to Paris?
Well, so I'm staying in Germany right now to train full time every day. And um yeah, so God willing, I hope I'll be able to qualify in the Olympics. And actually the goal of switching federation is not really to qualify for the Olympics naman. It's just for me to be given a fair shot. So, the question is, if I stayed in the Philippines, would I have been given that fair shot? No, because I was taken out of the national team. And, Ivory Coast never promised to send me to the Olympics. All they said was they would give me every single opportunity that I deserve to try and make it to the Olympics. And that's just really what I'm after. Beyond that, it's all on me. So whether I qualify in the Olympics or not, um, at least now I know that I was given a fair shot and I gave all and I gave my best.
If I want to just ask this one additional question. If you had been given an opportunity to fence again during that time when you asked for reconsideration, would all of these not have happened? Hindi mangyayari to na lumipat ka. Just if you were given a fair, even just a fair hearing, and you were heard and you're given an explanation. They told you, Maxine, wag na muna. Next time na lang, we'll help you. But ito parang hindi patas for the other fencers. Would this have happened?
I think if the federation treated me with respect, I never really asked to be treated like a VIP. I just wanted to be reinstated because the federation issued me an excuse letter. So I deserved to be part of the national team. And, they just removed me from the team for non-participation. And they also knew that the Olympic qualifiers was upcoming. And as the highest ranked Filipino fencer in the world, I needed that reinstatement. So I just wanted them to give me a chance to hear me out at least, Like
Yeah.
if the reinstatement wasn't possible, then things could have been salvaged by a simple acceptance of my request for an audience because I just wanted to face the board and I just wanted them to explain to me why. Like why they removed me even if they issued me an excuse letter. But yun nga, like they never even addressed my request for an audience.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, yeah, I guess as I said, it's water under the bridge. You're now happy. Your ranking is up. You've won a bronze medal
They removed
in the African Championships, and you are all set. To try and qualify and make your dream. But I guess in yours and the way I feel it, you still feel so much like a Filipino. How much of the Filipino athlete is still burning in your heart, Maxine?
Well, Tito Noli, I think I will always be Filipino and I will never stop being Filipino because you're talking to an athlete na in every single competition, I'm always so OC if the Philippine flag is there, and I would always argue to the organizers if the Philippine flag is not there and force them to buy a Philippine flag if there was none and demand them to display our flag properly. I always get peeved when mali yung display ng flag. So you can't wipe that out just because of a federation switch. So if I ever qualify in the Olympics, it would be two countries qualifying for the Olympics. So the flag that I represent, which is now my home, the Ivory Coast, and the Philippines, which is where I came from and I'll always be from. It's my roots and I will never forget that ever. Like my heart will always pound for both countries.
Wow, that is super touching, and I'm sure all of the Filipino fans hoping and wishing that you could still compete for the Philippines are still happy to know that at the end of the day, if you should again step on that podium, the Philippines is still proudly in your heart. Maxine, as a final question, what do you think? In all of this journey of yours in your career as a fencer, you started really young. You had been fencing, as you mentioned, in so many tournaments abroad. You climbed the ranks and certainly the top fencer of the Philippines and now for Ivory Coast. But what is the best ending, you think? If there was a Cinderella ending, if there was a dream ending, what is the best ending that you can conjure after all of these?
Well, I think for me it would be change. Like change in a federation. I would like to have a federation who is transparent, a federation with written rules where all athletes will be able to see all the rules, the policies, and the points and rankings updated, announcements made. A federation that is objective, someone who bases their decisions on numbers, because numbers don't lie. Not decisions that are subjective, because different people have different opinions. A federation who listens to athletes. Like I dream of a federation where athletes have a voice, and a federation that is composed of board members who work full time and who are well versed about the global sporting bodies rules and competitions, and who are also willing to seek funding and sponsorship for the team, so that we will be able to go to more competitions and more training, and a federation who knows all the athletes' sacrifices and are there to help no matter what to achieve their dreams. And for me, I think that is the best ending. And of course, if I qualify in the Olympics.
Of course. On a personal note, I guess that is really going to be a dream ending for you. But if there's anything that may come out of what you have done as a result of your changing your sporting nationality, and those things happen at least as a reform, not only in your federation, the PFA, but also in other NSAs that have similar problems. Alam naman natin, several athletes have also changed nationalities in the past. Sana nga kahit paano something would have been learned from this experience of yours. Maxine, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck in your quest for your Olympic dream, and we certainly look forward to seeing you back in the Philippines, not so much as an athlete, but just enjoying again the company of an athlete the Philippine flag is still burning in her heart. Maraming salamat muli, Maxine.
Thank you so much, Tito. Thank you.
Mga kaibigan, yan po si Maxine Esteban, the Ivorian fencer, dati pong Philippine fencer. Again, we see the kind of ordeal no pinagdaanan niya, yung bang mga paghamon. Ganito pala ang nangyari dito, no? Nagkaroon po ng injury, humingi siya ng konting palugid para makapag-rehab. Pinagbigyan, no, sa unang pagkakataon, sinabihan siya na oo, pwede yan. Huwag ka nang sumali sa mga competition muna habang nagpapagaling ka. Tapos biglang nagbago po yung ihip ng hangin at tinanggal siya as a national athlete. Yan po ang naging kwento niya. Kaya siya napuwersa kahit na ano pong kanyang pagdaing, hindi po napagbigyan. Marami po tayong atletang ganyan na minsan ay walang boses. Hindi po, wala po magawa sa mga nagiging desisyon ng iba nating mga sports leaders. Hindi po natin nilalahat ng iba po nating mga sports leaders. Mabutit mabuti si Maxine ay meron pong paraan para siya po mapagpatuloy ang kanyang pangarap. Paano po yung wala? Yung hindi po kayang gawin yung ginawa niya dahil naiipit po sila sa ating bansa. Paano naman po ang kanilang pangarap? Sana po ay maging aral ito sa lahat po ng ating mga sports officials. At sana po ay sumagot ang PFA para malaman po naman natin ang side ng Philippine Fencing Association. Alright, bago po tayo mag-break, isa muna pong pagsilip sa mga viral videos at pop culture sa mundo ng palakasan sa Stop and Pop. Ito pong susunod nating video ay patungkol sa, hindi talaga sport, pero mukhang mga leksyon tungkol sa physics ba yan? Panoorin po ninyo ito. Sapagkat ito pong batang ito, nakikita nyo naman talaga, umiikot yung isang ride sa isang amusement park. Hindi natin alam kung saan ito. Pero nakikita nyo kahit gano'ng delikado at gano'ng kabilis yung pag-ikot niya, lumulundog pa at nag-backflip pa itong batang ito. Tunay na pumasok ito sa kanyang physics class at tunay din na siya ang ating stop and pop. At kami po ay magbe-break muna sa aming pong pababalik. Patuloy ang inyong Sabadong edition ng Power and Play. Ito po ang Power and Play. Atid sa inyo ng Cherry Loom, Cherry Tigo, Chooks to Go at ng True Religion. At ang commercial break na ito ay hatid sa inyo ng M2 Tea Drink with malunggay, okra and luya. Drink your gulay and fuel up on energy with M2 Tea Drinks.
I dare to dream big. To be a voice of my generation. To inspire resilience in the face of roadblocks. And in sharing my stories, I let others share in my passion.
Follow Kheith Stories on Twitter and share yours. With Smart Double Giga Stories. Share 2 times the passion with 2 gigabytes for Twitter and more. Guaranteed every day, plus data for all sites.
Simple, smart ako.
Sherry.
Masarap. Malinis. Friendly store crew. At higit sa lahat, healthy. Ang bawat manok ay laki sa alaga, hindi sa gamot. Garantisado, zero antibiotics. And that's the Chooks experience. Kaya mag-Chooks to stay na. Dito lang sa Chooks.
At syempre po, gusto natin magpasalamat sa lahat po ng tagapagtaguyod ng Power and Play. Going on our 6th year. Maraming salamat po sa Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Sa ganitong babago-bago ang panahon, mga kapatid, sobrang init tapos biglang ulan. Kailangan natin ng matibay at protektadong bubong. Dapat ang bubong ay yerong may aluminum. Kapag may aluminum, tsak na pang matagalan. At isa lang ang alam kong dekalidad na yerong may aluminum, yan ang Cherry Loom, tibay protektado sa pangmatagalang yero. Cherry Loom, ang yerong may aluminum. Cherry Tiggo 5X Pro Hybrid. Elevate your driving experience with the all-new Cherry Tiggo 5X Pro Hybrid, where sustainability meets functionality. Get ready to embark on a journey of fuel efficiency and power like never before. Imagine cruising down the road with the impressive 1.5 turbocharged engine paired with a cutting-edge 48-volt hybrid system. This dynamic duo not only delivers exhilarating performance, but also slashes fuel consumption effectively, making each mile a step towards a greener planet. The all-new Cherry Tiggo 5X Pro Hybrid is also equipped with a 10.25-inch capacitive touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, full LED headlights, and double road daytime running lights for improved road visibility, auto trunk release, 6 supplemental restraint system airbags, and a quiet cabin for more peaceful Cherry drives. To learn more about the all-new Cherry Tiggo 5X Pro Hybrid, visit Cherry Auto Philippines website at www.cherryauto.ph or visit your nearest Cherry dealership. Chooks to go, nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Subukan ang kanilang pinakabagong oven-roasted chicken na mas pinasarap dahil sa nag-uumapaw na flavorful chicken juice. Subukan ang harissa roast, sweet roast at pepper roast. Try also Chooks, the first dine-in restaurant ng Chooks to go. Chooks to stay with Chooks to go. Chooks to go, ang nag-iisang manok ng bayan. Thank you! Joyride, ang bago ninyong kasundo. Super excited na kaming i-launch ang pinakabagong super serbisyo ng Joyride Super App. Ito ang aming Joyride Super Taxi. Maganda at bagong sasakyan. Super luwag pa ng trunk space para sa inyong kagamitan. Full-time at professional na mga drivers. Pwedeng parahin at pwede ring i-book sa app. At higit sa lahat, walang dagdag presyo or dimetrong pamasahe. Isa na namang handog ng Joyride Super App para sa mga super sipag na mananakay na Pilipino. Super serbisyo ng dimetrong kasundo. Yan ang taxi. Yan ang Joyride Super Taxi. Thank you! True Religion, where passion meets power. True Religion is in the Philippines. For your best style choices, visit True Religion at Conrad S. Maison Mall of Asia Complex, Resorts World Manila, and Hacienda Designer Outlet, Silang, Cavite. True Religion, where passion meets power. Elms Seafood Paluto, the latest offering of the Elms Resto Bar Group, located at Unit 2, Ground Floor, Calle Bistro, Ever Commonwealth, Quezon City. Enjoy their delectable seafood menu in a relaxed, casual dining atmosphere for your salo-salo seafood meal. Elms Seafood Paluto. Skin, your face and body anti-aging center with branches at Alabang Town Center in Green Hills, San Juan. For your skin assessment and treatment schedule, please call 0917-890-1640 or 0977-809-8886. Asea Subic Beach Resort. Experience the getaway that you deserve and dive into limitless happenings, rejuvenating experiences, and gastronomic adventures. Asea Subic Beach Resort. M2T Drinks. With Malunggay, Okra, and Luya. Drink your gulay and fuel up on energy with M2T Drink with Malunggay, Okra, and Luya. Your natural source of electrolytes. And Smart. Live more today. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga tagapagtaguyod. And we are now with our very dear friend who's back in the show, a good friend of the show, of course, Coach Tab Baldwin of Ateneo. Coach Tab, thanks for joining us today. Congrats on your return to the Final Four.
Well, thanks, Noli, and as always, great to be with you. It's been too long, so it's good to see you again, and good to be with all of your listeners again.
I'm happy that you're healthy once more after a bout of a whole episode of all that, and again, of course, that rubs on the team. Hopefully, as your team tries to get into the defense of your title. But let me start with this. No, this is a streak that continues, your Final Four streak, of course. But this time it's via a playoff, something that the team has not experienced since your era. I'm sure you're happy, but did you expect this Final Four trip to be this bumpy, Coach?
Yeah, I'm not really one that's big on expectations, so I can't say I expected, an easy path. I certainly can't say that I expected that we wouldn't make the playoffs. So, you just fight it game to game, and it was a tough season. Now that we're in the playoffs, I would stop short of saying it was a disappointing season, but certainly if we had not beaten Adamson and not made it into the playoffs, I think it would have been a disappointing season. We simply have higher expectations of ourselves. But now that we're in the playoffs, of course, it's a whole new season, a second season. And, we go into every game believing that we can win it, but expecting a very, very tough encounter and preparing for such.
Obviously, this team, laden with a lot of youngsters, rookies, is very different from the past teams that you've handled. But outside of the maturity of the age and the experience, what was the difference between the team this year, and the other teams that you've handled in the past?
Probably, I would say two things, Noli. One was a mistake, as I've said in the media leading up to this on my part, I think, in retrospect. And the other is I guess, an amalgamation of circumstances. We got so many new players in, but, of course, we like to assemble our team in January and train them from January until the season starts in September. But we had Chris Kuhn with a shoulder surgery that he didn't come back from until probably late April, early May. Jared Brown had ankle surgery in November, so he didn't really have quality trainings with us until April, May. Guys like Rafi Sellis, Kyle Gamber, they didn't come into the environment until June. So, this conspiracy of circumstances, which can happen to a team, and it's out of your control. These are things that impact your chemistry, they impact your cohesion, and they impact the type of trainings that you do. Combine that with, what I thought was a strategic decision that made sense, and that was that we play a lot of preseason games between January and September, and the total was 62 this year, which is a massive number of games.
Right.
And we did that in large part because Joseph Obasa was our new foreign student athlete, and we only have him for 1 year. And the one thing that he really lacked in his resume was playing experience. But we did that especially designed for him. But what we gave up in the process was the development of principles, discipline, and cohesion. And it has plagued us all year long. And so, in retrospect, I have to take responsibility for that, and I think it was a miscalculation on my part.
You had to go through a very tough Adamson side, who has been a pain to the Ateneo. I mean, they had some very, very good games against the Blue Eagles and won a few of them. But in this particular knockout game, what did you like about that game that you feel augur well for you come the Final Four?
Well, I think that, you talk about Adamson as being that type of spoiling team. And I think any team that characterizes itself as Adamson does with great defense, first of all, they certainly can play the role of spoiler and play it very well. And they can get their own success on the back of that. And I think that was Nash's plan from the beginning. And they certainly evolved into a very, very tough defensive team. And they were tough for everybody, not just for Ateneo, although, they were a real thorn in our side. I think that, we sort of turned the tables on them. We had an outstanding defensive game. And on the back of our defense, we managed to generate, particularly in the first quarter and particularly in the first half, we managed to generate some offense that isn't so easy to get against Adamson. Transition baskets, fast break baskets, and that came from our defense, and it gave us that little buffer, which we defended very well. and I would say really for the first time this season, we put 40 minutes of solid defense on the court. And, I couldn't be more delighted. That's the kind of win I like. That's the kind of character and identity that I want for teams that I coach. But because it's really the first time we've produced it, I can't say that we've done it consistently. But I
think that may be the word that has been lacking in the season. Consistency, Tab. Don't you think so?
Definitely. We've been consistently inconsistent, I can tell you that. But I think that, while you use that as a catchphrase, inconsistent performances, I think we would more accurately be described as a team that didn't establish any identity at either end of the floor through any particular performance of players or any particular style of play. I think the one thing we did well this year was we hammered the ball inside a lot, and we got to the free throw line a lot.
Now, you talked about a little bit about the spat you had, the exchange with Coach Nash in that game. What's going on there, Tab? It's been something, ever since Nash had that statement about officiating, and of course something about your golf game happened yesterday. What's going on there, Tab?
Look, Noli, Nash and I have been friends over the years, and I worked with him at Talk and Text. He's a very, very good coach. But, whether he's a good coach or not, whether I'm a good coach or not, we're both cast in this role of competitor in the UAAP. And, I make no apologies for the fact that sometimes as competitors, we walk on the edge of good sportsmanship, of stepping across the line and taking the fight into the street, if you will. And that's just what competitors do. And Nash is no different. So, I respect Nash. He's a really good coach. Both of us doing and saying some things that in the confines of our friendship wouldn't be acceptable. In the confines of gentlemanly competition, sometimes wouldn't be acceptable. But in the confines of the fire of competition, sometimes happen.
Right,
and now
right.
Apologize for that. I'm not going to apologize for that. We're just going to say that, two guys are slugging it out and our teams are slugging it out. And, if we cross the line, I apologize for crossing the line, but I don't apologize for being a fierce competitor. And I wouldn't want Nash to either. I think it adds flavor to our teams, to the toughness of our teams. And it's just who we are. So, what said now, that can all be left behind, at least, from my standpoint. I feel pretty confident Nash will leave it behind, and, our paths will cross. We'll probably, have a laugh about it, and we will get out on the golf course and talk about my putting and
I'm sure that'll come to play in the bet that you'll make whenever you play golf.
Exactly.
A lot of young players there. You lost a lot of vets when you started this season, and of course, everyone saw the maturity or the lack of it in your team. But when you talk about your team, Coach Tab, in the last 14+1 games of the Ateneo, how much growth have you seen, for instance, from players like Jared Brown and Joe Obasa, as well as Mason Amos?
They've all grown. But again, I go back to what I said about the structure of our preseason. The normal, I guess you'd say, the normal pattern of development that we have in the Ateneo program over the last, half a dozen years, we didn't do. And consequently, our players that needed that desperately didn't get as much of it as they should have gotten. So, of course, they're going to grow over 76 games and a lot of practices and a tremendous number of mistakes and video sessions and such as that. But without the practice time to hammer the repetitive drills and the repetitive messages, the growth isn't what it should have been. And but you know, we have the future. We have all of these players back except for Joseph and probably Jason Credo. And we will certainly, you know, reassemble our thoughts and our processes for next year. And we will rectify the mistakes that we made this year. But obviously, we still have some work to do this year. And we're trying to cover every base that we can with every coaching tactic and philosophy and the talent of our players.
What is the mindset of the Ateneo entering the Final Four, Coach?
To really, you know, to really put on the boxing gloves and, you know, the work boots, and don't think we can be cute in this game. We've got to take this game down into the trenches, and we've got to play this game from a heart and soul standpoint. We're not going to be smooth in our execution. They have more preparation time. We have very little. We're a bit banged up. So, you know, we've just got to go out there and really put our hearts on the court. And I would like to be more tactical. I would like to be better prepared, but the scenario just isn't that way this year. So we've got to turn this thing into a dogfight, and that's really their game. You know, you take these, you know, outstanding players that have come with Coach Gold from the NU high school program, where they have a championship pedigree. They won a championship 2 seasons ago. You know, you've got the Jerry Abejanos, you've got the Felicildas, the Cagalana, you know, CJ Cancino, Harold Alarcon. These guys are, you know, they're born fighters. So, you know, it's a big match for us. It's a big challenge for us. But we have talent, and I think we discovered a bit of toughness in the Adamson series, and couldn't come at a better time.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about officiating, of course. A lot of issues have come out, you know, some developments, including on the side of the league. How is that affecting your preparations, the boys' I guess, morale, as well as, you know, we heard Adamson say, for instance, that they wanted Ateneo in the Final Four. Is that more fuel to prove that Ateneo deserves to be in the finals, and not because of any other external help coming from anywhere?
Look, I think, you know, my life, 42 years of coaching, every single game I've challenged referees. I've gone hard on referees. I've tried to make their life miserable, and at times they make my life miserable. But that they have a defense. They have a whistle. And they have technical fouls, and they have ejections and warnings. And, you know, so it's a fair contest. I don't think, and I think referees are just like coaches and just like players. They have good games and they have bad games, and they're not above the law. You know, they have to do their job just like we have to do ours. And sometimes if a referee doesn't have a good game, I don't think it's a bad thing to call them out in the media, although nobody wants us to do that. They want to protect the referees. But what I think is out of bounds is, I think, when you question the referee's integrity and you question bias. I think at times we all feel that might be the case, but you need hard evidence to be able to come out in the media. Otherwise, you're casting shadows on people's character. And if you don't have proof, I think you're walking on, you know, some very, very thin ice. So, you know, challenging the referees, battling the referees, it's part of the game of basketball.
Right. Yeah.
But it has to be done in a context where you respect their authority. And many, many times I've stepped over the line and referees have banged me with a technical foul. I deserved it. You know, that's part of the game that we play. But, you know, it's got to stop there, in my opinion. And I had a bad game, but I wouldn't feel comfortable saying that a referee was cheating on another team's behalf.
At the end of the day, the calls will go either way, and as you say, you know, it will not make or break a team. It's really up to the team to adjust to all of these calls, right?
Part of the game, you know. I mean,
part of the game.
FEU game, they saw the last shot that LJ Gonzalez made, and what a phenomenal shot. And everybody saw that he traveled. Okay, the referee missed it, but he probably missed 5 calls, against us throughout the game. It's a hard game to referee. So you can't just pick and choose and you got to challenge it in the moment or let it go.
Right.
And
all right. Well,
that's the way it is with refs, and we have to respect their role because we don't have a game without them.
Perfectly, and well said that. But you've been talking a lot, particularly about the refs and including the players, about this term called servants of the game. You've mentioned this in your interviews, in your past interviews, talking about the roles that each one has, and as well as in the respect of the game. What kind of message are you sending out there when you talk about the servants of the game, Pat?
Noli, I'm old school. I don't apologize for that. I'm a purist. I love the game. The game's been an extraordinary part of my life from my infancy, because my father was a basketball coach, and he had a tremendous love and passion for the game, and I inherited that. And I do defend the game above all other things. But I also understand, I think, what's happening in the game of basketball in the world today, and I don't like it. I think as a purist of the game, I think there's too many fingers in the pie, if you will, and for the wrong reasons. The game of basketball is for 5 guys to play against 5 guys. Everybody else that is involved in the game is there to facilitate those 5 guys playing against those 5 guys. Mm-hmm. That's what we exist for. We serve those 10 players so they can play the game in front of the fans, the administrators, the referees, the coaches, and we can all love it and be passionate about it. But I don't have a win-loss record. I think that's the craziest thing in the world. People say, how many games have you won? How many games have you lost? I haven't won any. I haven't lost any. My teams, we've won and lost, hundreds. But I'm not there to be the winner. I'm there to be part of a team and to help my players enjoy the experience of playing the game and play it better because I'm there. And in that sense, I serve my players. And in that way, we all enjoy it. We all profit from it. We all benefit from it. And we create what I think is the greatest game in the world.
And we're all servants of the game in that sense, because then we all enhance what is a beautiful game to begin with. You've had a winning season all through your career at the Ateneo, and many are asking, and many have talked about you as the real creator, the real molder of this program, and are afraid that you would leave. So the question is, are you staying on after the season, Tap?
Well, first of all, let me debunk the thought that I'm the architect of this program. I have an unbelievable coaching staff, just unbelievable, Noli, and we've grown together over 8 years, and we operate as a unit. We're one, and so any criticisms or any accolades belong to all of us. And coaches come and go. We lost Gabby Severino a couple of years ago, and we lost Yuri Escueda over to San Beda, and these were guys in our coaching staff, but we replaced them. Sandro Soriano and G-Boy Babylonia, guys that have come through our program, and they seamlessly enter, and we continue to work as a unit. A day will come when it will be my turn to walk out the door, and we'll be fine when that day comes. Are there any plans for that to happen in the near future? No, not at all. My concern is UP on Saturday, and the future will take care of itself.
Well, as a final parting shot, of course, it's nice to hear that. I'm sure the Ateneo fans will be happy to hear that. How confident are you in this game number 1?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how confident I am. We got to go to war. We just got to strap the boots on and go out there and play. And I think the players believe in themselves, And I think that the Adamson game gave us a new sense of belief and maybe the spark of an identity, hopefully. So yeah, building on that, we're not going to go out there scared. I can tell you that. But we also acknowledge, what a fine program and a fine team UP is, and we realize that it's a steep mountain to climb. But we're mountain climbers, so let's go.
Good luck, Coach Tat. Thank you so much. At para po sa ating panghuling segment ngayong araw po ng Sabado, as usual, magtatampok po tayo ng isa na namang Pinoy athlete nagbigay ng karangalan sa ating bansa. This time sa mundo ng table tennis. Ito po ang ating tampok in the spotlight. Siya po ang bagong hirang na U19 champion ng World Table Tennis Youth Contender na ginanap po doon sa Puerto Princesa, Palawan. Naging rin po siya, two gold medalist ng 2023 SEA Games or yung Southeast Asian Youth Table Tennis Competition sa Brunei. At ngayon nakatutok ang kanya pong efforts patungo sa Paris Olympics. Kasama po natin ngayon sa In the Spotlight si Kheith Rynne Cruz. Magandang araw, Kheith.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat.
Magandang gabi rin sa iyo. Unang-una, salamat sa pagsama mo sa amin ngayong araw na ito. And of course, congratulations sa naging pambihira mong championship na nakuha sa Puerto Princesa. Anong nararamdaman mo after that pagkapanalo, Kheith?
Nakakatuwa po and nakaka-proud kasi dati pangarap ko lang po magkaroon ng world title. Tapos nakakatuwa po na na-achieve ko na po siya ngayon.
Gaano kahalaga para sa iyo yon? Yung pagkapanalo mong yan sa U19 championship ng World Youth Contenders?
Napakahalaga niya po sa akin kasi naging basehan ko po siya na nag-improve ako and nakatulong po siya para mag-open po ng iba't ibang opportunities po para sa akin.
Anong nakatulong sa'yo dito sa naging last championship? Anong nakatulong sa'yo para gumanda yung performance mo, Kheith?
Actually, pinadala po kasi kami sa China noong August. Pinadala po kami sa China. Tapos, nag-training po ako doon for 1 month. And para po sa akin, napakalaking factor ng training ko doon kasi ang daming malalakas na ka-sparring and ang dami ko pong natutunan para po maging way para mag-improve ako and na-apply ko po siya nung game ko sa Palawan. Kaya po, malaking factor po yung pag-training ko abroad.
Maganda pala yung experience mong yan, ha? Pang ilang mo bang international medal na ito, Kheith?
Hindi ko na po alam. Pero yung first ko po na international medal talaga is noong 2018. Sa SEA din po, pero bronze siya sa team, silver sa doubles. And then, noong 2019 naman po, bronze ako sa individual. Tapos, nung nag-pandemic, syempre medyo nag-stop po yung mga competitions. Tapos, nagkaroon lang po ulit nung, I think last year po, may medal din po kami. Then, yung latest po, and yung pinakamalaking achievement ko po sa international is yung this year po sa SEA Youth na 2 golds and 1 silver po. Tapos, yung latest ko po na WTT gold and silver din po sa Palawan.
Baka hindi na magkasya sa cabinet po yung mga medal mo, ha, Kheith. Pero again, nakakatuwa. Sa dami na nakuha mong medals, sa napakabata mong edad, talagang malaking bagay yan for your future. Let's talk about ikaw, no? Kasi hindi naman maraming nakakakilala sa iyo, Kheith, no? So gusto natin makilala ng mga tao kung sino ba talaga si Kheith, no? Unang-una, ilang taong ka na ba? From what I understand, mga 16? 16 ka ba o 17?
16 pa.
16 years old ka
turning
pa lang.
17 po sa December 30.
Aba, happy birthday na pala sa'yo in advance at saka Merry Christmas. Kailan, 16 years old ka, pero kailan ka nagsimulang maglaro ng table tennis?
8 years old po.
8 years old. At sino ang nagpakilala sa'yo? Sino nag-introduce sa'yo sa table tennis?
Yung parents ko po, since coach po kasi sila pareho sa school po na kung saan ako nagsa-study po.
Oh, wow. Anong pangalan ng mga magulang mo, Kheith? Para ating makilala silang nantuluyan.
Si mama po si Vanessa Cruz po, tapos si papa Kheith Cruz po.
And what school sila nagtuturo?
Dito po sa Chinese school sa Paco Citizen Academy Foundation po.
And ikaw ba, doon ka rin nag-aaral?
Opo. From
Napaka-
nursery to grade 12 ngayon po, na-graduating ako.
Scholar ka ba? Scholar ka dyan?
Opo.
Nakakatuwa naman talaga. Okay, tinuruan ka ng parents mo, ng papa mo at saka ng mama mo ng table tennis. Pero anong nagustuhan mo sa table tennis, Kheith?
Hindi ko po masabi, pero since simula bata po ako, parang andun na po yung love and yung passion ko po dun sa sport. Kaya na-enjoy ko po yung ginagawa ko. And at first po, hindi po talaga ako nag-expect na mararating ko po yung mga achievements na to. Kasi nung bata po ako, ang naisip ko lang po yung na-enjoy ko yung game and natutuwa po ako every time na nakakaramdam po ako ng improvement po. And feel ko yun po yung pinaka-factor po. Yung na-enjoy mo yung sport and yung passion mo po. Kasi yun po yung mag-push sa'yo po para mag-improve.
Absolutely. Talagang kung hindi ka nag-enjoy sa ginagawa mo, kahit saan kahit anong larangan yan, talagang hindi ka magsistay dyan at hindi ka lalong magpupursige para lalong dumali yung ginagawa mo, no? Ikaw ba, may mga kapatid ka? Do you have siblings, Kheith?
May brother po ako, younger brother po.
Younger brother. At yung bang kapatid mo ay nagsisimula na rin mag-table tennis o iba ba ang hilig?
Table tennis din po yung sport niya. And actually last year po, nagkaroon din siya ng world title po. Nung naglaro kami sa Thailand, finalist po siya sa category po ng age niya, sa 11 under po.
So, table tennis din yung sport ng kapatid mo. At sabi mo nga, ang parents mo talagang sila yung naging unang coach mo para ikaw ay mapunta dyan sa table tennis. So I presume napakalaki ng suporta ng mga magulang mo sa paglalaro mo ng table tennis.
Opo.
Hanggang ngayon, sila ba rin ang coach mo o meron ka ng ibang coach sa national team?
May iba po akong coach sa national team po. Pero from time to time, nagtitraining pa rin po ako here sa school po.
Oo. Sa bahay niyo ba meron kang table tennis table, no? Lamesa? Wala. Alright. Pero ikaw, grade 12 ka, sabi mo, graduating ka ng senior high school. Unang-una, anong strand mo?
Gas po yung strand ko.
Gas, syempre, para mamimili ka pa. Pero anong inaambisyon mo sa pag-aaral, if ever? Kung anong gusto mong kurso sa kolehiyo?
Psychology po.
Gusto mo bang mag-teacher, mag-doktor? Ano bang gusto mong gawin kung hindi ka magti-table tennis?
Actually, yung pinaka gusto ko po before talaga, maging lawyer po. Kaso yung yung course ko po, if ever, pag daw nagkuha ko ng connected sa law, mahirapan daw po akong baka mahirapan kong i-balance yung pag-aaral and paglalaro since national team po. And sobrang time-consuming daw po ng law since maraming memorization. So, sabi ko baka mag-psych na lang muna ako.
Pero ang psych, preparatory na pa rin yan sa law. So, pwede ka pa rin. After 4 years, pumasok ka ng law school. Alam mo, iba pa rin ang merong degree pagdating sa kolehiyo. But let's talk about your table tennis, ano? Anong inspirasyon mo? Sino ang inspirasyon mo sa table tennis, Kheith?
Ang idol ko po talaga, si Ate yan. Pero yung inspiration ko po and yung nagbibigay sa akin ng strength to do better everyday po is yung parents ko and yung kapatid ko po.
Well, obviously, ang parents mo, sila ang nag-introduce sa'yo, sila ang nagko-coach sa'yo talagang malinaw na motivation mo yan. But you talk about Yanyan Lariba, yung ating kaisa-isang naging Olympian sa table tennis. Gaano kalaking inspirasyon siya para sa iyo? Alam naman natin na nawala na si Yanyan Lariba, pero gaano siya naging kalaking inspirasyon para sa iyo?
Sobrang laking inspiration niya po sa akin up to this day po. Since nung buhay pa po siya, nakakasama ko po siya sa mga tournaments. And may one time po na may kasama po kami sa China nung nag-tour po. And tapos minsan nakaka-chat ko po siya before. Tapos hindi niya po ako nakakalimutan payuhan lagi na
Anong pinakamagandang paayong binigay sa iyo ni Yanyan?
Ang sabi niya po sa akin, gawin ko daw po yung best ko and proud daw po siya sa akin lagi.
Wow.
And
Wow.
wag daw po kakalimutan maging humble.
Very, very, very wise words mula sa ating Olympian na si Yanyan Lariba. Sana nga isaulo mo yan sa iyong magiging career sa table tennis player. Alam natin kung gaano kahirap ang table tennis. Pero pag hindi ikaw nagpa-practice o hindi ka lumalaban sa table tennis, ano ang ginagawa mo, Kheith? Ano ang mga interest mo outside of the sport?
Alas everyday po kasi ako nag-training kaya medyo
Wala
na
kang panahon.
free time. Pero pag may free time naman po, madalas po akong kumakain kami sa labas. Minsan nila mama, nila papa, or minsan po nagmo-mall ako.
Yan, malling. Ika nga, pero hindi ka masyadong ma-social media.
Ma-social media din po.
Ma-social media ka rin. Sige. Pero
Kasi
hindi
yun
ka
po
naman...
yung way ko ng pakikipag-interact sa friends ko po.
Oo, tama. Hindi ka naman marites. Basta wag lang marites. Yun ang mahalaga. Well, when you talk about, kasi batang-bata ka pa, and sabi mo nga, halos araw-araw nagtitraining ka, hindi ka masyadong maraming panahon for other things. What are you willing to give up, to sacrifice, para maabot mo ang iyong Olympic dream, Kheith?
Actually, sa ngayon po, feel ko nga medyo nasa-sacrifice ko ng onti yung pagiging student ko at times. Kasi ang dami pong kunwari may tournaments po or practices abroad. Kailangan ko mag-absent. And actually, hindi po siya madali para sa akin. Kasi nung hindi pa po ako national team, nakasanayan ko po na yung with honors, yung mataas lagi yung grades. Tapos, syempre ngayon po na national team and may absences, may times na nahihirapan po ako ma-maintain yun since ang dami pong nadidiscuss tuwing wala ako. Kaya, ayun po, feel ko medyo nasa-sacrifice ko siya ng onte. Pero every time naman po na nasa class ako or nakaka-attend ako ng klase, binabawi ko naman po. Hinahabol ko naman lahat. Then, pagka nandito naman ako, pinipilit kong makakuha pa rin ng mataas na grades sa works and activities para pambawi sa mga absences ko.
Well, hindi mo na-realize kung gaano kahalagang isang bagay hanggang igangay talagang meron kang kailangang i-sacrifice. And of course, ang pag-aaral, napakahalaga niyan. But right now, may opportunity ka nga para sa pagiging Olympian. Kaya saludo ako sa iyo sa iyong ginagawa. I'm sure na ikaw ay gagantimpalaan ng Panginoon sa mga ginagawa mong sakripisyo, Kheith. Let's talk about your plans. Pangarap mo maging pumasok sa Paris Olympics. Ano ang schedule mo? Paano ang proseso para ikaw mag-qualify, Kheith?
Dadaan daw po sa mga Olympic qualifying daw po.
Saan yan?
Wala pa pong nabanggit sa akin sila coach and sila Sir Ting po. Pero ang sabi lang po nila, maghanda daw po palagi. Mag-training palagi para maging ready daw in case na may bigla ang salitan.
I understand, maglalaro ka sa US Open. Totoo ba yan? Sa California?
Apo.
Paano mo pinaghahandaan yung US Open na gaganapin ngayong Disyembre sa Ontario, California?
Gaya po ng sabi ko kanina, medyo nasa-sacrifice yung akad. Kasi gaya ngayon, nagpa-excuse po ako sa klase para po makapag-training ng full-time. Since hindi po madali yung yung tatahakin po namin na daan. Kasi napakalaking gastos din po. Actually, nag-raise pa po kami ng funds for the training and the competition po mismo. So, ayun po, ginagawa ko po yung best ko para hindi po masayang yung sacrifices and yung paghihirap po ng parents ko for me po. And syempre, para hindi rin po masayang yung opportunity na binigay po sa akin.
Paano kayo nagre-raise ng funds, Kheith? Hindi ka ba tinutulungan ng federation o ng association at ng Philippine Sports Commission?
Actually, yung US Open po kasi, hindi po siya tournament na na magpapadala yung PSC. But parang sariling po siya. So,
Sarili
wala
mong desisyon na pumunta doon. Okay.
Opo. So, wala pong budget talaga for US Open. Kaya nag-raise po kami ngayon ng funds po.
Alam mo, nananawagan tayo kay Senator Bongo. Alam ko na si Senator ay mayroong pondo para sa mga atletang katulad mo. I'm sure na susuportahan ka, lalong-lalo na ng ating mga congressmen at saka senador na mahilig sa sports. Again, siguro lapitan mo si Senator Bongo kasi meron siyang magiging suporta para sa iyo, Kheith. Well, talking about support, sa tingin mo ba ngayon na ikaw ay talagang nagkakampanya sa table tennis, kulang ang suporta sa sport ninyo para lalo pang dumami ang mga naglalaro ng table tennis katulad mo?
Actually, sa totoo lang po, medyo kulang nga po din talaga yung support since feel ko nakafocus po talaga sila sa ibang sports like basketball, volleyball. Yun po yung mga pinaprioritize nila. So, yun po, medyo may kulang ng suporta. Pero hindi po siya pwede maging dahilan po para hindi po natin ibigay yung best natin para mag-improve po everyday. Kasi, siyempre po, pag may goal ka, kahit kulang yung suporta, kahit walang budget, gagawin mo po lahat para ma-achieve yung goal po na yun.
Wow, nakakatuwa yung mga sinabi mo yan. And sana kahit paano, marinig yan ng ating mga sports officials para lalo pang suportahan hindi lamang ikaw kundi ang buong table tennis community. Huling mensahe mo, Kheith, sa mga Pilipino na nakikinig sa atin ngayon na naghahanap ng isa na namang bayani katulad ni Yan Lariba na makapasok muli ang Pilipinas sa Olympics ng table tennis.
Ang sabi ko po, thank you po sa inyo lahat. Siyempre sa family ko, sa friends ko, and sa sponsors ko po, thank you po sa inyo lahat. Tapos sa lahat naman po ng nag-e-expect na magiging kagaya ko ni Ate Yan. Siyempre, iba po si Ate Yan. Siyempre, yung mga na-achieve niya po, alam ko pong malaki yun. And hindi ko po masasabi na kaya ko po siyang pantayan or higitan po. Pero ang masasabi ko lang po, gagawin ko po yung best ko para matuloy po kung ano yung sinimulan niya.
Well, maraming salamat at kami ay full support sa iyo, Kheith. Kung ano may tutulong ng power and play, magpasabi ka lamang at tayo maghahanap ng paraan. Ulit, maraming salamat at good luck sa iyo sa iyong paglahok sa US Open and of course sa Olympic qualifiers. Mabuhay ka at saludo kami sa iyo.
Thank you po.
At yan po ang ating panayam kay Kheith Rynne Cruz, isang up-and-coming athlete ng Pilipinas. Kita nyo naman ang kanyang pananaw, no? Kahit na walang suporta, laban lamang. Sana, alam niyo po, magkaroon tayo ng puso sa ating mga atleta. Napanood natin kanina, ang isa pang atleta, si Maxine Esteban, na sumisigaw, tulungan nyo naman kami, baguhin natin ang sistema. Ito naman ngayon si Kheith Rynne, humihingi ng tulong. Pero kahit na walang tulong, laban pa rin. Mahirap po ang buhay ng atleta. Sana po ma-appreciate natin at talagang ituring natin silang mga tunay na bayaning Pilipino. Alright mga kapatid, bago tayo magtapos, syempre gusto ko pong i-announce lahat po ng mga winners ng ating top-up promo ng Joyride Super App. Ito po ang mga nanalo ng 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits mula sa Joyride. Si Erson Kasanding Marie Montesilio, Ralph Rigor Mateo, Judeline Valenzuela at si Mark James Belen. Congratulations, 1,000 pesos e-wallet credits para sa inyong lahat. At yun naman pong nanalo ng ating limited edition Aqua Flask mula sa Joyride pa rin, yung pong nagbigay ng entry nila last week. Ito po ang nanalo, si Robert Tariman, ang ating pong winner ng Aqua Flask. Again, napakagandang Aqua Flask mula sa Joyride MC Taxi at saka of course yung Joyride car. And that'll do it for us ngayon pong Sabado. Muli po tayo magsama-sama next week at marami pong salamat sa lahat sa inyo na patuloy na sumusubaybay sa Power and Play. Lagi po natin sinasabi tuwing Sabado, bawal ang masungit at sa lahat po ng ating gawain, ad maiorem Dei gloriam, all for the greater glory of God. Kami po ang 1PH, teleserbisyo para sa Pilipino. Susunod na po ang inyong paboritong inay ko po. Happy Sports Weekend mga kapatid! More power, more play.
Sa kapwa ko Pilipino, ipagmalaki ang galing na meron tayo. Ilantad ang likas nating talento at magdala ng saya sa mundo. Sa harap ng pagsubok ay di susuko, para sa pangarap tayo'y porsigido. Magpakitang gilas na at huwag magpatalo, ipagdiwang natin ang Pilipino. Yan ang Pinoy. Mula noon at hanggang ngayon, talento natin ang bida. Mula sa simpleng bakuran hanggang entablado natin ipakita. May pagsubok man ng Pinoy, pinalalakas ng saya. San man tayo sa pulo, chumbe, sibay, lakay, amiga. Sama-samang pakita ang galing natin katropa. Sa kapwa ko